Hello out there. Hello, hello, hello. I am live. I am live on this Saturday evening. And we're going to be talking about Mercury just having gone retrograde. And also anything else anyone wants to talk about and have an open discussion. And then later we'll be having another stream. So I like to think of this, I think I'll be live for about an hour, as the preliminary stream that is setting the tone for the night. And let's check the quality here. Okay, we're good. As always, if you're watching this one and it is not live, feel free to fast forward until things get interesting. Okay. So yes, be having this open discussion stream. Hopefully it goes well. And that'll kind of set the tone, or at least that's my intention, for the rest of the night, for later on when we talk about the Empress card. The Empress card. And that will happen after I take a brief break after this stream to have lunch. Let's just get this all put together. But yes, for now we can talk about Mercury retrograde. We can also talk about anything you want. And speaking of Mercury retrograde, I'm already having a technical malfunction here. But don't worry, it's nothing I can't fix. Good evening, Ryan. Good evening, sir. How are you tonight? So I add this, whatever you call it, widget or whatever, doesn't want to work for me, so I guess I'll just have to manually post the link, copy and paste it to my Twitter, but whatever. All right, let's just get this set up here. Live. Watch. Better than I was yesterday. My car suddenly wouldn't start on Friday, so it's currently in the shop. Oh no. I hope that your car gets fixed soon. Wait, so that was yesterday, huh? Well, I'm glad you're doing better today, at least. That is odd though, that because, well, as the subject of this stream is Mercury retrograde. Mercury just went retrograde yesterday at 8:34 p.m. Eastern time, and having technical difficulties with cars and any kind of technology is exactly the kind of thing that you can expect during a Mercury retrograde. And so that happened to you literally the day that the planet went retrograde. Huh, go figure. See how this tweet looks. All right. All right, well, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. Yeah, I hope things stabilize with your car. Well, if it's any consolation, I don't even have a working car myself, so yeah. Yes, hopefully this ends up being an interesting stream. We're going to talk about Mercury retrograde, anything else that people want to talk about, and then I'm going to take a break after I've been live for about an hour. That's my plan anyway, to go have lunch, and then I'll come back and we will have a stream tonight about the Empress card in tarot. So that should be a lot of fun. Around 2 p.m. went to get in the car to run a quick errand. The engine wanted to turn over but didn't fully catch. Damn. Interesting. So right as Mercury was preparing to turn retrograde, this happened. Something either it needs a new spark plug or maybe the fuel pump went in. Probably the fuel pump. Yeah. I know so little about cars, if I'm being honest. I can't even remember what the problem was with mine that made it eventually not drivable. But no, this Mercury retrograde is also particularly interesting for me because I think I mentioned this in the previous stream, but in case people have forgotten or whatever, Mercury is literally hovering around my Mars point in my chart, around 13 of Sagittarius, like before and after it goes retrograde. Like that's what happens when a planet is preparing to go retrograde. For those who watch this who don't know, it appears to slow down in the sky. That's the idea. It appears to slow down, and finally it appears to stop. Obviously the planet itself is not really stopping. It's an optical illusion from Earth or whatever. And then it stops and then it appears to go backwards. And that's the idea of a retrograde. Well, when I say it's hovering around my Mars point, I mean that the location in my chart where I have Mars is literally at exactly the place that Mercury slowed down, came to a stop or a standstill at, and then started going retrograde just yesterday at 13 of Sagittarius. And so this retrograde basically has my name on it, just so you all know. And when it's over my Mars, well, that means that everything Mercury and everything Mars about me is getting activated in significant ways, and it's probably going to be like that for this whole retrograde, I would imagine. And so Mercury, communication, thoughts, intellect; Mars, aggression, assertion, action, physical energy, things of this nature. And so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to manifest for me personally, but I do suspect that it's probably going to give me a lot of energy and a lot of desire to be more assertive in my communication. At least that would be my prediction. I'm not really completely sure. I've literally never had this happen before since I started studying astrology. And I guess I'm not sure if it's ever happened before in my life, because it's really quite rare to have a planet go retrograde at an exact point in your chart. You know, it's I don't know. You only have so many points in your chart, and so each planet, there's going to be maybe a 1 in 360 chance, because there's 360 degrees in the chart, so like a 1 in 360 chance that that each of your points in your chart is going to have for a planet to go retrograde at that point, if that makes sense. And well, people will use different things, like different astrologers will use different things in different charts. Like some will use like comets and asteroids and stuff like that. But basically speaking, you know, you're only going to have so many points in your chart also. You know, there's going to be your sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and a lot of people use Chiron in the North Node. But beyond that, most of the time, like, astrologers aren't using anything beyond that, so those are the only points. So I don't know. I hope that makes sense for how like rare that is. Have to go do some chores. I'll tune in after I'm free again. Have a good stream. Thanks, Ryan. I'll see you later. Yes, I'll be. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be getting off myself once I've been live for about an hour doing this stream. I'll go have lunch, then I'm going to come back and talk about the Empress card. But for now, we can talk about Mercury retrograde and anything else that people want to talk about, any questions people have. So Yeah, if anyone who is tuned in, it says I've got a few viewers now. If anyone has any questions or comments, please leave them in the chat, and I will go right ahead and get to them. Before I go, ooh, what is this? Curious. I'm curious about your curiosity. If you asked the same tarot card reading question, I think I know where this is going. It's still kind of cold in here. I was going to put a hoodie on, but then I thought probably not. That you did in the past when the cards changed the second time. Yes, they almost certainly would, because your energy is always changing. Because each time you do a tarot reading, it is basically reading your energy as it is in that moment at the time of the reading. Like, I've more or less had this question asked to me before, and so I kind of knew where you were going there. It is a very interesting thing to consider. It's like, ooh, like, do they change or do they not change? Well, they change, but usually only to some extent, at least if the reading is like accurate and being done accurately, because the energy is always changing from time to time. But like, unless you've gone through, I guess, a lot of changes, it's usually only changing so much. But you know, it depends on the situation, basically. Poetic is just psychic. Well, I mean, that too. But yes, indeed. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. I've had experiences before where I've done like multiple readings about the same thing, like, and gotten similar cards. And then, like, if I do it at the same time, especially, and then, like, if I do it more like over a longer period of time, at least I think I've done this before, but unless I'm misremembering, but I think I've done this before where, like, if I ask a similar question, but a little while, like, apart from the last time I asked it, like, I'll get some similar cards, but then some that are different that indicate like a shift in my energy. And sometimes the tarot is almost tricky, and it's almost like it, how do I say this? It's almost like the cards don't want to show you more than you're ready to know or something. Because there have been times where I thought to myself, well, that almost seems like, I don't know. It almost seems like, well, that's more what I was feeling at the time of the reading, and then I felt differently, and then cards came up that matched that feeling. So it's like, just what is being reflected to me here? Is it just how I feel? I mean, who knows? Maybe it is. Or is it like how I feel plus a bunch of other things? But I don't know. I usually gain a lot of insight from the cards, and so I guess I have to assume that it's more than just how one feels, I guess. But anyway, does anyone have any other questions? Finally got some snow here recently. It's changing the vibe of everything. I really like it. In fact, what did I say on Twitter about that recently? I'll read you guys a tweet because this is something important. At least I think it's important. I don't think many people consider it, about the weather. I said, the great snowfall that so many are experiencing is indicative and reflective of a collective shift in the psychological reality throughout the regions of those experiencing it. A whole new way of looking at weather. And speaking of the weather, if it gets any colder in here, I'm going to have to put a hoodie on. Jeez. So, I suppose while I'm awaiting, more people and more questions, I will talk more about Mercury retrograde. I'm going to put my phone to the side so it doesn't distract me. and just, I guess, sort of my take on Mercury retrograde, since that's kind of partially at least the subject of this stream. So Mercury retrograde has one hell of a reputation for being something very bad and something very feared, but I don't exactly agree with this interpretation, and neither do all astrologers. I'm not calling myself an astrologer, by the way. I'm not sure what would make me qualify as that or not qualify as that, but whatever, just saying astrologers in general. Not all are in agreement that Mercury retrograde is some big bad thing. And here's why, or at least this is the way I see it. So when a planet goes retrograde, this might be a bit of an oversimplification, but to get the point across, it's like the signal of that planet becomes louder. The vibration of that planet becomes more pronounced. And so what's Mercury? It's intellectual stuff, communication, words, thoughts, these sorts of things. So when it goes retrograde, if you don't have, what's a better way of saying this? If you have resistance on those subjects, thoughts, communication, intellect, technology, also a big part of it. If you've got resistance on any of those subjects, then it's going to be much more pronounced during the Mercury retrograde because the vibration of that planet is much more pronounced. And I feel it is also a benefit to remind people that, as always, it is at least my thesis that it's not the planets themselves, like the physical planets in space, that are actually doing anything to us here on Earth, but it is simply that they reflect what's going on in our consciousness. And it's interesting that that reflection in and of itself exists, but there it is. I see it much more psychologically. I don't think that the planets themselves are literally like sending anything to us on Earth that's affecting us. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just my strongest theory on it, I guess. So really, Mercury retrograde serves you a lot, even if you've got resistance going on, because if you've got resistance going on, you want to become aware of it. Like, you want to know that you have unresolved issues with something, so that you can then clean that up, so that you can then find a way to release that resistance and improve your experience, therefore. And furthermore, if you've already been, making lists of positive aspects and shifting your vibration and doing your best to stay in alignment with who you really are, and taking the path of least resistance and finding satisfaction as often as you can in every moment that you can, and starting out your day with something that feels really good, and meditating and whatever. If you've already been doing all that kind of spiritual practice and have a really good vibration going on, particularly around Mercury things, then Mercury retrograde cannot be detrimental to you. So that's another thing to keep in mind. You create your own reality, as I'm always quick to tell people. And so Mercury retrograde is just going to point out what you've already got going on vibrationally, and emphasize resistance, and maybe even emphasize the areas in which you are doing well. So it's nothing to fear. It's just like anything else in this reality. We come across contrast. We come across what is wanted and what is not wanted. And the not wanted part is necessary in order to know what is wanted. It's a necessary part of the process. So Mercury retrograde, in short, serves you very, very well. And that is the way that I would approach it and look at it. So let's see. Looks like some people left during that. Perhaps not everyone wants to hear that you do create your own reality, and that you are responsible for everything that happens to you. You are responsible for the reality that you experience, because you're the one creating it. But anyway, um, well, I'll just continue to chill out here and see, if anyone else shows up, has any questions or anything. Any questions or comments? So what else can we talk about in the meantime? No, am I gonna sneeze? No, I'm good. Well, today, speaking of these kinds of Mercury things, we had the higher octave of Mercury, Uranus, in a triseptile with the Sun. And so, I'm not an expert on septiles by any means. I just started looking at them much more like a couple months ago or something, but basically they're fateful aspects. They're aspects that talk about things sort of crashing through from other dimensions or perhaps even otherworldly things. Well, this is a connection like that between the Sun, which is like kind of the ego or sense of self, and Uranus, the planet of sudden shocking developments. So this whole day could be one of sudden shocking developments, but of a very fateful and what's the right word? I don't want to keep using the word pronounced, though that's the one that's coming to mind. A very strong, overt nature. These fateful and shocking, sudden, unexpected developments. And that perfected at 12:17 Eastern time, and so we're probably still within that energy somewhat now, but at the same time, like, I guess slowly leaving it as we get more into the night. All right, so I'll wait and see if there's more activity here. Gonna grab a tissue while I wait for people. And I'm back. So yes, later on we'll be talking about the Empress card. That should be very interesting. Let's see, what should we do for now? We're waiting for people. If you're watching this when it's not live, again, feel free to fast forward until things hopefully get interesting. See if there are any other interesting astrological developments going on. Well, the moon is in subtle, perceptive, psychic Pisces right now. And it won't be until tomorrow at 10:55 a.m. Eastern time that it moves into Aries. The energy will become much more fiery and passionate and focused on oneself and impulsive and headstrong would be a good word. Also, I can't take it anymore. I need my hoodie. So I'll be right back again. All right, it's much better. So now the question becomes, what should I do until more people show up? Because you see, YouTube, as I've been informed by my viewers multiple times, does not send notifications half the time or a lot of the time. So people probably don't even know I'm live right now, or like not all of my regular viewers or subscribers or whatever know that I'm live right now. So I just kind of have to wait for them to find out, because YouTube apparently doesn't want to always notify people even when they ask to be notified. It's like, YouTube, why would you do that? Why are you doing this? What's the big idea, YouTube? But anyway, yes, just wait here until more people have questions or comments. More people find out that I'm live, hopefully. And we'll see what happens. Hello, Angela. Sorry I'm late. Glad to be here. Oh, don't worry about that. You didn't miss much. Just talked about Mercury retrograde. Obviously, I mentioned how I will be doing a stream later as well on the Empress card in Tarot after I've done this one for a little while. And yeah, so if you have any questions or comments, it could be about Mercury retrograde or anything, let me know. And hopefully YouTube, I don't know, gets its act together soon. And by that I mean notifies people when I'm live, I guess. Hope you're good. Beautiful sunny day today. What's the subject tonight? Oh, cool. Oh, and Ryan's back. Hey there, Ryan. Hello again. What's the subject tonight? Well, in this stream, just Mercury retrograde and anything else people want to talk about. And then later on, the Empress card in Tarot. And wait, Ryan gets an instant notification all the time. Huh. Well, that's good at least. That makes me feel better. It seems like not everyone does. But yeah, we'll be talking about the Empress card later on, and I'll be talking about like how that fits into human consciousness and like the meaning of the card if it appears in the spread and my personal interpretation of it. And of course, also taking comments and questions about that and the tarot in general later on. And if people want readings again, of course, I can give them readings. So yeah, beautiful sunny day though, where you are, or it's been a beautiful sunny day. What am I even saying? That's cool. Today here it was definitely not that. It was like very, very cold and cloudy, and I don't know if we got more snow or not, but there's definitely snow out there. It's been changing the vibe of things. And as I read in a tweet earlier that I had posted, I believe that such a shift in the weather is reflective of a collective shift in the psychological reality of those in the regions experiencing it. Great, I'm ready to learn more. Awesome, I'm ready to present more. Yeah, I'm just gonna, let's see. I've been live in this stream for almost a half hour. My plan is once I've been live for about an hour, I'll take a break, go have lunch, and then I'll come back, and then we'll talk about the Empress, and I'll be live probably for at least 4 hours if I can handle it anyway, which I probably can. Oh yeah, speaking of resilience and stuff like that, I had a workout yesterday, which I'm very sore from right now, but I also feel more like enlivened tonight, I think, because of that. So maybe that'll mean I can stay live longer, have more energy for these streams. We shall see. Not really sure what the effect is going to be yet, but I do know I think I feel more energized today from having had that workout. Wait, Edgewater, Maryland. It's not that far from here. I'm not that far from Erie, PA. But yeah, it's been like a dark, cloudy day here. So what would you guys like to know? Or do you have any comments about anything? I'm going to glance at my phone briefly. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, don't think of Mercury retrograde as a threat. It's simply activating things in your vibration that are already there. And if it activates resistance by running into unexpected difficulties or whatever, then that resistance was there to begin with, and it's something that ultimately you want to know about. And so Mercury retrograde really serves you a lot, and it's just not wise to assume that it's always such a bad thing, or that it's always such a problematic thing. It can certainly manifest that way, but that's not Mercury doing anything to you. That's simply the way that you are interacting with that energy. Yeah, speaking of live streaming, I noticed a couple people I was subscribed to went live today. I thought, I saw like people I don't ever see go live, and I thought, this is becoming a more common thing. And how's our society doing as a whole this time right now? Would that be a good subject reading? Are you asking like for a tarot reading? Like if that would be a good question for a reading? I think it would be. That would be fascinating. I could even do that right now if you want. It's up to you. Or if anyone wants that or any readings. Yes, indeed. What do I think about that? How is our society doing as a whole this time right now? I don't know if I know enough about that to answer that accurately. Waiting for this to get here still. Yeah, that's a good idea. But I don't know. Sometimes I get, a more lively chat, and other times I don't. Which is funny. I have like nearly 2,000 subscribers. I would think there'd be a few more people likely to watch, but it doesn't always happen. But it's whatever. I'm just happy to have anyone here, really. Yeah, regardless, if you or anyone else want me to do a tarot reading about that question, just say so. I can do it right now, or I can do it later on. Yes, what was I saying earlier? About working out. Yes, I've decided I'm going to, I guess, start working out again. Not that I really went that long without it. I took a break, and I think it lasted for about 5 weeks because my body told me that it needed a rest. My body was like, I'm done with these workouts for now. I don't like them anymore. And I said, okay, no problem. And so I went a little while without working out, but then I kind of had a thought. I kind of thought to myself, if I start working out again, I might have more like energy for these live streams that I do. And as I thought about that and kind of felt how my body felt about it, I thought and felt, yeah, I'm ready to go with this stuff again. So yesterday / last night, I guess it was more in the evening, I had a workout again, and it was very intense, but it was also, I don't know, it went very well considering that it was the first time I had a proper workout in like 5 weeks. I think it was right around 5 weeks, basically. And now I'm sore as hell from it today, but I'm happy about that because that means my muscles are getting stronger and stronger. So should be interesting to see what happens after taking a break from it. I heard years ago this idea that like muscles have memory, and so like if you go a while without working out, but then you work out again and do the same kinds of workouts that you used to do, that your muscles will literally become stronger and like develop faster than they did before because they remember uh, the previous physical activity. So I think that's probably what's happening to me. In fact, I was shocked. I went through my whole workout last night and didn't even take one single proper break. Like I did slow down and like I did, how do I explain this? I stopped for a few seconds, like once or twice or maybe 3 times at the most towards the end of the workout, but I didn't take like a proper break, like where I actually like stop and like get a drink of water and, you know, wait like 30 seconds or so before returning to the workout. No, I just, I kept right on going, which is shocking that I was able to do that. It's shocking to me that I was able to do that after 5 weeks of not working out. So that was really awesome. What I also did yesterday is I made my daily list of positive aspects about working out. And so I think what happened in addition to all of that is that I lined up the energy. I lined up my energy with working out and the positive aspects of it, sort of vibrationally pre-paved it. And I think that's why I had such a good workout, even though it had been so many weeks since I last had any intense physical activity like that. So, yeah, I'm happy to announce that. A bit blurry. Liquid chlorophyll with water to get your greens. Well, that sounds quite good. Quite advantageous. One of these days, when I can afford such things, I'll have to look into that. What else can we say here? Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll build back up to working out every other day because that's what always worked really well for me before. Or try to make it every other day. But maybe my body just needed the break, actually, as I think back to it, because it's like, I don't know. At the time that I decided to stop for a while, it almost felt like the workouts weren't really doing much for me anymore. It almost felt like they were detrimental in a way, believe it or not. And then starting up again just yesterday or last night, today, it's like already I'm feeling more energy, apparently, from the workout. Like I felt it from, I think, basically from the time I woke up today, in fact, before I had any caffeine or anything. And so even with these sore muscles and whatever. So yeah, I'm excited. I think also like as I continue to like work on my vibration and beliefs and everything, that my experience with working out and everything else can only improve and become more positive. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Mint flavor, not that expensive last month's. Chewable vitamin C and stuff in your word. Sounds interesting. I mean, I'm not really too into like consuming health products, but I'm also not opposed to trying out some. So yeah, maybe one of these days. Like I said in a recent stream, we were kind of talking about health. I said there's really only 2 things I've ever discovered that I can like consume substance-wise that really help my health or like make noticeable enough effects on my health for me to keep doing it. And that is 1, ginger tea, or just ginger in general. And so now I'm drinking ginger tea every day. That helps with like so many things. Helps with allergies, sinus pressure, stomach issues, like helps you digest better. It gives you more energy. Probably other things that I'm forgetting, but like that's huge. So like that, and having a glass of water every day. That would be the second thing. Every day after breakfast, I have a glass of water. And I don't know, that just seems to improve my overall energy levels and just a sense of like refreshment, I guess, and like mental clarity and stuff. Feels like my body needs that glass of water to um, keep it from being sluggish or something, keep it like running fairly well. So yeah, those are the only two things that I've discovered that really helped me significantly, but I haven't tried everything, and so I may discover more things, but I guess we shall find out over time. So how are you guys doing? Do you have any other questions or comments? It says 3 people are watching right now. So we got some lurkers, but that's okay. I'm a lurker myself when I watch live streams a lot of times. Or I don't know, I'll go into this in-between stage of like lurking and then commenting, lurking and then commenting, or just commenting occasionally. That can be fun. So yes, does anyone have any questions about astrology or Mercury retrograde or anything else at all? I'll be happy to answer them. The lurker. Indeed, indeed. Let's see, the tarot reading I gave myself today, funny enough, since I'm talking about the Empress card tonight, the Empress card itself came up in my tarot reading. It came up for the near future, which is funny, because indeed I will be talking about the Empress in the near future tonight. But she did come up reversed, and so I wonder, does that mean that something twisted is going to happen in tonight's stream about the Empress? Is that what we can expect? And if so, what is this unusual twist? What will it be? That is the question. People keep texting me and I keep having to leave the stream and come back. Oh, yes, that could be a bit challenging. But that's okay, that's okay. I guess that's what happens, like if you watch it on your phone or whatever. Which a lot of times I find that my mobile devices play stuff better than my computer does. Although I think YouTube works better overall on my computer than say Twitch. Like if someone's live on Twitch, like my phone and tablet can handle it a lot better than my computer, interestingly enough. And especially when it's like if you're like watching a rebroadcast or if you're watching like an archive or whatever they call it. But I will continue to wait for more questions and comments. Yeah, texting. I don't even do that much texting these days. And we're blurry. Just thumbs up, maybe some unsubscribed to might show up. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you. I can use all the help I can get, clearly. Although I guess in another 16 minutes or so, I'm gonna get off for a bit, have lunch, and then come back with the Empress stream. But hopefully things get interesting, as most of us can. Indeed. So let's see, has anything else interesting happened as of late that I can talk to you guys about? Look at my little life record document. See if I can find anything interesting. Weirdly enough, yesterday, like with the whole Mercury retrograde thing, my internet went out for quite a few hours. Like it seemed to go out around, I think, 7:30 a.m. and come back on around 3:30 p.m. And I think it was just due to like the winter weather or something. But still, it's weird that like on the day that Mercury goes retrograde, that something like that would happen. But can't say I'm surprised. I watched Resident Evil Afterlife the other night. Not for the first time. I have it on Blu-ray. Watched it quite a few times before, and that's a really good movie if you like intense action and stuff. It's extremely loud also. Like if you watch it in surround sound like I do, like it's very, very loud, very intense. Sometimes I'm afraid it's going to damage my speakers. It's like, hope this movie doesn't cost me the experience of watching other movies. Let's see. I started my new book of positive aspects just 2 days ago, which I haven't fully, I guess, decorated the cover yet or whatever, but I can show you guys briefly. I chose the color blue for creativity, and you really can't see it that well, I don't think, but well, I guess you can kind of see it, but it of course says my book of positive aspects. And so yeah, today I made the third entry in it, and so that's been fun so far. Let's see, my first entry was about November, like the month of November, everything I like best about that. Then the second one was about working out, as I mentioned earlier. And the third was about the Empress stream that I'll be doing tonight. Because I like to, I mean, this isn't exactly the way that this process is intended to be used, but you can use it this way. I often like to make a list of positive aspects about something before it happens, because by doing so, I'm vibrationally pre-paving that thing to go well. And so like making that list of positive aspects earlier about the Empress stream that I'll be doing later, that means that when I go live later, I have that much more likelihood to attract what I want from that stream. It's literally a way of tuning yourself. I know I've said this before, but for anyone who is new or didn't hear it or whatever, it's literally a way of tuning yourself to the best of whatever it is that you're focused upon. Like it's one of the best processes I've ever discovered in my life. The list of positive aspects, or a book of positive aspects. Which I should probably do, I know I talked about this before, but a stream about, a whole stream dedicated to that sometime soon. I think I will. Just gonna wait for the right time, I suppose. Yeah, I suspect that even though we've only got a couple viewers this stream tonight, once I come back after lunch and do the Empress stream, that we'll get more, because I've noticed that the tarot streams, interestingly enough, tend to get more viewers, and I think that's because there's like a wider area of interest in that, and people also want readings, I think. Hey there, Ryan, welcome back. I was just talking about my new book of positive aspects and all the benefits of doing that, utilizing that. But yeah, it was so weird yesterday. Like, again, Venus went direct, like early in the day, and then in the evening, Mercury went retrograde. Like in the same day, they switched directions, basically. It's just so, it's so odd. It's such an anomalous thing. And I don't know about you guys, but the energy today feels so different than it did just a couple of days ago, to me personally. Keep jumping back and forth. Well, you got to do what you got to do. I guess fortunately for me, since I'm live streaming, if I were to get a text on stream or someone was texting me who I had to reply to, I could just sort of reply while on stream. It could just be like, oh, someone's texting me, I better reply. It'd be kind of funny in a way. I think the worst possibilities, then hope they aren't going to happen. Maybe I should change the way I think futures. Wait, I think the worst possible possibilities, then hope they aren't going to happen. Maybe I should change the way I think futures. Well, um, it all depends on your vibration, I would say. If you want my perspective on it, I would say if that's working well for you, then keep doing that. But whenever you're focusing upon an unwanted scenario in the future, whenever you're focusing upon developments that you do not want, you're focusing upon them and imagining of them attracts them to you. And so my recommendation to people is always that whenever you have any kind of event or situation that you're going to be in, do what I call some vibrational pre-paving of that situation by focusing on what you want about it, what you like about it, and literally imagining it in your mind as you want it to be. I just want to be prepared emotionally and intellectually. Yes, well, that is something that a lot of people do, and it does work for a lot of people. And actually, I mean, I'm not even saying don't do that, really, because if you can notice the contrast, if you can notice the stuff that you don't want and sort of become aware of the stuff that you don't want, and then use that as the bouncing off place to say, okay, what is it that I do want? And then focus upon that and pre-pave it for that, you are indeed prepared for what might happen, while at the same time minimizing the possibility of what you don't want to happen and maximizing the possibility of what you do want to happen. It's all in that transmutation of energy. So the way I go about it is, well, first of all, if I have a bad feeling about a situation, I just won't get involved in it to begin with, because sometimes there are some situations that it almost doesn't matter how much focusing you do with your mind. If you put yourself in them, like for one reason or another, it's going to basically go badly. But other times, for situations that aren't so intense in that way, I find that if I make a list of positive aspects about it first, or if I imagine it how I want it to be first, if I focus on what I like about it, what I will enjoy most about it, then that situation, once I go to live it, becomes that mostly for me. I feel I make it more aware to those on higher levels and hope all goes well. Yes. Well, you can always tell by the way you feel what you're doing vibrationally. So basically speaking, if your method feels good to you and brings you peace, then there's nothing to worry about. You're doing what works for you. You're doing something that does indeed work. But I would say to anyone who, if they said to me that what they were doing brings them fear or brings them worry, then I would say that feeling of fear or worry is your indicator that you are moving in the direction of something that you do not want. And so in that scenario, either try to stay out of the situation entirely, which isn't always easy, sometimes not even possible, or even better, shift the way you feel about it by focusing on it in a different way. Let's see here. So, does anyone else have any comments or questions? No fear, I know it lowers my vibration and others around me. Yes, indeed it does. Well, I like to say there's really no right or wrong way in creating your own reality. As long as you find what works for you, then that's what works for you. So I guess I'm going to hang out here for another 5 minutes, and then I will get off, but then I'll come back later with stuff about the Empress. Give my interpretation of the card. Are we blurry? We're blurry. But yes, it is true. My interpretation of the tarot probably often differs from that of others. But I guess if there's anything that sets what I do apart from what other people do, or that what I would like to be is, I like to take these subjects, these other sorts of occult disciplines that I'm interested in, like tarot and astrology, and frame them in accurate, or at least as accurate as I can, vibrational terms. Because I maybe see some people sort of, I don't know, doing that a little bit, but I've yet to come across anyone that's really, I guess, dived into that a lot. So not that I really cared that much to try to contribute something entirely unique or whatever to the collective body of knowledge, I guess, about tarot and these other subjects. But I would like to think that maybe if there is anything unique about what I'm doing, it's that I am framing these subjects in vibrational law of attraction terms that I'm not so sure, at least I'm not aware of anyone else having done that yet. Swims into the stream. Welcome back, Ryan. Welcome back. So, yeah, I was almost unsure tonight. I was like, should I do my first stream about the Empress as well? Should I just like get right into it and have like two about it? But then I thought, no, I think I really like having like one long stream devoted to one subject if possible. I think it just keeps it simpler, especially like if people want to watch it when it's not live and they just want to focus on that subject. I don't know, it just makes it's just better that way. It's easier to contain it all in one stream. Plus there's the idea of momentum. Like if I started talking about the Empress in this stream and only stayed live for an hour, well, we'd probably gain a lot of really good momentum about that subject, but then I'd have to cut it off because I'd have to go like have lunch and then come back, and then we'd have to start the momentum up all over again. So I just thought, yeah, it's probably best to just do it all in one stream. And who knows, maybe I can even stay live for 5 hours again, starting with that second stream here in about an hour, hour and a half, whatever it ends up being. That would be cool. Yeah, I don't know. Like, saw some other people live tonight. Are they stealing my viewers? Are they taking people away from me? That's okay. I'm just happy to get whatever I get. Yeah, I'm gonna go to my channel right now and see if well, I guess I could go anywhere on YouTube pretty much and see this, but I'm just gonna see if there's other people subscribed to still live. Actually, no, not anymore. Not anymore, but they were. And I lost a subscriber. So I guess it's either someone who is not interested in the live streams or not interested in this subject matter or something. I have no idea. Happy to be here. Well, I'm happy that you're happy to be here, Ryan. Thank you so much. However, we are now 3 seconds from 1 hour of this. So if anyone has any final comments or questions, give them to me now and I will respond to them. Other than that, I'm going to get off here in a bit. Sometimes you need a break from the news and learn something about something. Right? You need a break from the news and learn something about something. I'm not sure what you mean. Are you saying you've been watching the news too much and you feel like you need to take a break, or am I completely misunderstanding this? This is what happens during Mercury retrogrades, though. It's messages become blurred. So if there might be people who aren't even understanding what I'm saying right now, even though I think I'm being clear, because Mercury retrograde. Anyway, I started watching your channel more once you started the live stream. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I don't know. I'm certainly not here to try to like fit into any specific mold, you know, like I'm not here to be specifically about tarot and astrology, or be specifically about let's just talk about whatever and be entertaining all the time, or be specifically about the paranormal, or specifically about spirituality, or I'm not really trying to be specifically about anything. I'm just letting things happen and I'll attract the audience to me that's right for me. That's my philosophy on it. I would much rather like just basically be myself and attract the viewers that are right for me, that like me for what I'm about and like being who I am, than attract viewers who like me for some like mold I'm trying to fit. I don't want that at all. I sub my brother. Thank you so much, Deb. Thank you so much. That helps a lot. I'm subscribed to so many people on YouTube, and keeping up has become tiring. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm subscribed to a lot of people, and I really only watch like a handful of them because I only have so much time to really. But you know, it's okay. There's an audience for everyone. That's the thing. You know, there's when someone wants to like assert themselves, you know, put themselves out there in that way, there's always going to be some group of people somewhere that is a vibrational match to that person, that is interested in what that person has to present. So like, I mean, I guess what I would say to people, even for like viewing my streams or videos or whatever, like don't feel bad if you want to watch someone else instead of me, because you know, the way that it all works is that there's enough for everyone. You know, there's enough like viewers and attention and everything for everyone. So never feel like I don't know, not saying that anyone would, but never feel like you have to watch me, or like if you want to watch someone else, my whole like advice, or my whole what I constantly advise people and what I live in my own life is do only what you want to do as much as possible, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, and do what excites you the most. And so that applies to YouTube and watching YouTube videos and live streams as well. So I would say if I'm live and someone else is live or whatever, watch whoever excites you the most, watch whoever brings you the most excitement, most enjoyment, most fascination. That's my advice. I don't care if it's me or the other person or whoever, because I know it's all working out for me. I know it's all working out for me, and it's all working out for all of us. Let's see. I was hoping you'd stream today, and you did so. Yeah, yes, indeed. And I'll be streaming a lot tonight, especially after I take a break to eat lunch. It's like having satellite TV, thousands of channels that you only watch a few specific channels and shows, everything else never gets touched. I know, right? YouTube and the internet in general is just like that. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, think of how much this used to overwhelm me like crazy before I sort of settled into really just caring about being in alignment with who I am. But think of how much information is on the internet, like available on the internet, and like how much knowledge there is to absorb. Like, it used to drive me crazy because I would see it all and I just want to absorb it all right now. I was like, oh, I need to read everything. I want to just read every book that's ever been written. But then eventually I came to the realization over time that actually I don't want to read every book that's ever been written, because there's a lot of books that are not a vibrational match to what I'm all about and my interests and stuff like that. And really, I only want to indulge in the knowledge and the content that is resonant with me and that is uplifting to me, that is good for my vibration. and it's part of my excitement. So yeah, I don't know. I've almost mixed feelings about knowledge. I feel like in some ways knowledge of the wrong kind can be highly detrimental, especially because it can hypnotize you into believing things that you don't want to believe. So that's my perspective on it. Anyway, any final comments or questions before I get off? I love how like now it's starting to get really interesting right as I'm about to get off. Of course, I don't have to get off right now. I could wait a little bit longer. It's not like I'm really hungry or anything. But I'll leave that up to you guys. Any final comments or questions? Let's see. It's 0 Celsius here right now. Right at the freezing point. All right, well, I'm gonna wait about 30 more seconds. If there's nothing else, then I'm gonna get off. Yeah, this has been fun. Not quite as many viewers as usual, but that's okay. I'm just here to have fun. Not like I'm really trying to accomplish any major goal or whatever on YouTube. My only goal is to have as much fun as I can, whether that's with 2 people or 200,000. All right, so it's been a bit. Till later, enjoy some food. Thank you, Angela. I will do that, and hope to see you and everyone else later. I think I'm just now the view counter is going up right as I'm about to get off. Okay, I'll wait just a tiny bit longer then, in case anyone just came in and has any comments or questions. Bye for now, Poetic. And see you soon, Ryan. See you soon. Here. Let's see. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys, it's been fun. Come back later in about an hour. I'm going to be talking about the Empress card for anyone who didn't hear that earlier. And I'll probably be live for a good 4 to 5 hours, hopefully, talking about that. If it lasts that long, if there's continues to be enough content about that card and about anything else at that time. So, yeah, look for me later on in about an hour, hour and a half at the most from now. And we will have a delicious, good feeling time exploring the mysterious philosophies of the tarot. And hopefully make them a little less mysterious and a little more easily digestible, I guess. I'll get munchies. Ooh, sounds like a plan. All right, you guys. See you in an hour or so. Thanks so much for being here. All right.